Hi guys, it's Jasmine from studyquill. Today, as highly requested, I'll be showing you guys how I do my calligraphy headers. Before we start out, please keep in mind that I am by no means a calligraphy expert. This is just based off of my own experience. So if you're more knowledgeable about this, please don't yell at me in the comments for spreading disinformation or something like that. Since my calligraphy is mostly on the go, like during classes, I don't use dip pens very often. If you want more information about dip pen calligraphy, I'll link a really good introduction I found online in the description box below. I have a Brous EF66 nib and a Tachikawa straight holder. I use these for inking drawings and practicing calligraphy every once in a while, but not as often as I use my other supplies. I mostly use brush pens and markers for calligraphy. I use this Tombow ABT dual brush pen most often, as I keep it in my pencil bag and take it to school every day. One end is a brush marker. Mine is a bit frayed because when I first started out, I put way too much pressure on the pen. I'll talk more about technique later in the video. If you're doing it correctly, the marker won't fray at all, so don't be put off by my bad example. The other end is a bullet tip marker, which I just use as a normal black marker. This is longer than the average pen, as you can see when shown side by side with the mild liner, so it may not fit in your pencil case. Just a warning if you were considering buying it. The other brush pen I use is a Kuretake Zig. You may have seen it in my stationery haul in October. The tip is made of fibers like an actual brush, not foam like most brush markers. It's really flexible, so you can make a big difference between the thin hairlines and thick downstrokes, but that may be a little hard to control if you're just starting out. For markers, I use the Crayola Super Tip markers, which you may have also seen in my stationery haul. Any marker with a cone-shaped tip like this will do just fine. They won't bend as much, but they still offer a little difference between upstrokes and downstrokes. Sometimes I also use the thin tip of my mild liners when I don't have my markers with me. The tips of the mild liners tend to weaken and get thicker over time, and you can't really press down to make the downstrokes thicker. So I said upstroke and downstroke a lot of times, but you may not be sure what that means. Well, upstrokes are when you move the pen away from you, and downstrokes are when you move it toward you. Generally, you want to press down on downstrokes so they'll be thicker, and lessen the pressure on upstrokes. Don't press down too hard though. You can damage the pens that way, as I mentioned earlier. There's a fine balance that you need to strike, and the best way to find it is through practice. The way you hold your pen is really up to you. I hold it much looser than I hold my pens when writing. The two best ways to improve your calligraphy are to practice and to get inspired. First, you want to practice your letter forms, just by writing out all of the letters in lowercase and uppercase. I also practice writing words. It's really hard to pick random words, so I'll often play a YouTube video and write whatever words I hear. You may also want to practice the little flourishes that make your calligraphy unique, like crossing your T's, flourishes at the end of G's and Y's, and so on. One of the best ways to get started is with faux calligraphy. Use a normal pen and write the letters in cursive, then trace over the downstrokes again and darken them. It will help you get used to making fancy letter forms without the difficulty of using a brush pen or a dip pen. It also really helps to look at pictures of really beautiful calligraphy and see what you like about them. Then incorporate those elements into your calligraphy. Tumblr, Instagram, Behance, Pinterest, and many other social media sites are great resources for this. Looking at all those beautiful photos might be a bit discouraging. You might feel that you'll never be that good. Well, you can improve immensely with time and effort. I've been doing Chinese brush calligraphy since I was around 7 or 8, and I've started using these tools about a year ago. It takes time to improve, and you'll definitely see huge improvement if you keep working hard. Compare these to the brush calligraphy I did about a year ago, for example. You can accomplish a lot with persistence. Thanks for watching! I post videos every Monday, and you can check out my blog posts in the description. See you next week!